Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video in Fire Emblem Heroes. And well, what have we here? Nearly a week before the next new hero banner is supposed to drop, we're getting a new FEH trailer. So I've given up trying to predict when they're going to release these trailers. I just dropped everything, saw that there was a notification, immediately closed it, reopened it, full screened it, turned on the mic, turned on OBS. And didn't look at anything, so I didn't look at the title or the thumbnail, so I don't know what this is. I'm not looking at it now. So we can watch it together for the first time and see what the new units are all about. I know that there is some speculation out there that we may be getting a far-fetched banner, because I think people are still kind of clinging to that hope that we'll be getting a far-fetched banner. It could be. It's definitely possible, especially at the eve of kind of the next Choose Your Legends campaign, so to speak. So I can see that happening, but who really knows? So let's get started. I'm going to continue looking away until after the splash is gone, and then I'll be looking back up. Oh my god, I'm listening to the music. I know that... it's Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Oh my god. Okay, what... Eleonora, I recognize the music, like, immediately. I thought I was gonna prevent myself from being spoiled by looking away, and then, like, that chorus rang out. Cool facade.
But she's a great partner regardless.
Kiria.
This world has no shortage of specimens.
Oh, it's Kaboon art, and there's Tharja in the back there. I mean, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Tharja. Mirage... This music is hype. Okay. Oh, it's cool. You get to see, like, their personas. I mean, I don't know if they're really their personas in these games. Microwave and Idol?
Mamori is my master. She is someone who I must protect with my life.
Oh, it's Draug. I have to admit, I don't know a lot about Tokyo Mirage Sessions, except for this music.
I am with you, master.
Because the trailer for this game was hilarious when they first released it. Madcap Idol. Okay, I do recognize her. Naturally. Tsubasa. Okay, Shida is her stand. There's a Flying Lancer, Mirage Feather, Blade Session 3. What is that all about? I'm excited for potential Flyer exclusive skills. Paralog story: A Star is Born. Okay, let's pause here and see. Is there anybody new? Oh yeah, the swordsman. I don't know who that is. I'm assuming it's a Tokyo Mirage Sessions character, but let me know in the comments below who that might be. Again, I don't look at the in-game notifications until after. Well after we record and upload this. So let's see if there's any stinger at the end, anything? Alright, so no stinger at the end for a 3 to 4 star pre-demote. So we are getting a Tokyo Mirage Sessions themed banner. I think this is something that has always been in the back of everybody's mind as a possibility. Like something that could happen. And then, you know, it just never happened, so we kind of just forgot about it. I mean, I guess the timing makes sense, because isn't the Switch version of the game coming out pretty soon? I haven't been following it, so I'm not entirely sure when that's supposed to release. For all I know, it may have already released, but I remember that they were kind of promoting the Switch version of the game. Again, I don't know a ton about the game. I just know Tsubasa from the promotional materials. But it's always been a game that kind of interested me. When they first revealed it, it was a little trollish, a little divisive, I would say. I think a lot of people felt a little burnt, Fire Emblem fans in particular, at what Fire Emblem cross Persona or Shin Megami Tensei could have been. And it ended up, basically being not what people were really expecting. And then the Switch version is about to come out, or has come out, something to that effect, which piqued my interest again, but then it's my understanding that it's using the censored North American version in order to, as that port to the Switch. to which I say, you know, F that noise. So I'm not really interested in getting that copy of the game, but the characters themselves have always intrigued me. It looks like we are going to get a 4-person banner, even color distribution here. So let's go ahead and rewatch the trailer together, slow it down a little bit, take a look at the skills that they have to offer, as well as the art that they feature, to see if they're worth pulling for. This song. Oh, I love it. Okay, Shooting Starlet is going to be first up. So this will feature Eleonora. So we have Eleonora here with the Virian stand, or persona, whatever you want to call it. Looks like she's going to be an infantry archer. I like Kakage's art here a lot, actually. The whole pastel coloring, I really think lends itself well to the flowery and sort of fanciful design of the character, as well as Virian back there. I think it lends itself to kind of the, I guess, the light-footed nature that you would expect of an archer, and how she's designed. I think it looks really nice. I think it blends well. You can kind of see how she almost has like peacock feathers of roses behind her, or something to that effect. It looks really nice. It's a nice effect. Let's keep going. And I'm liking the sprite work too, because I've noticed that the sprites have the characters, the stands kind of pop up behind. So let's take a look at Eleonora and see what she has to offer. So Mirage Longbow is her weapon. It is not inheritable. It is exclusive to her. It's a 14 might weapon, effective against flying foes, grants speed +3. If unit speed is greater than foe speed, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Okay, that's a pretty short and sweet effect. Nothing mind-blowing about it, but preventing follow-up attacks is actually a powerful effect. Especially for a non-armor. Now, for armors and beasts, for them it's just Tuesday. They can just slap on Wary Fighter, use their transformation animal effect or beast effect, and then, you know, they can prevent follow-up attacks, and it's no big deal to them. But for an infantry archer, it's actually a pretty neat effect. It's not bad. You know, in a lot of instances, you would need to sacrifice your A-slot skill for something like Sturdy Impact. Not to say that Sturdy Impact, you know, isn't just useful to use in and of itself, but, I mean, the fact that Mirage Longbow works on both player phase and enemy phase, there's something to be said for that, I would say. And again, it's just the foe can't make the follow-up attack, so unlike something like Wary Fighter that prevents follow-up attacks on both sides, she can follow-up attack, it just prevents follow-up attacks on her. So it's a short and sweet, you know, not a lot of frills to this weapon, not really that extravagant, which is kind of deceptive because the character herself looks pretty extravagant, but it's certainly a decent effect. Rally attack speed plus grants attack speed +6 to target ally for 1 turn. Okay, dual rally plus. Attack speed push 4 at start of combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%. Grants attack speed +7, and after combat if unit attacked deals 5 damage to unit. Attack speed push 4 is an excellent skill. Obviously, it was introduced with Brave Camilla. I kind of wish they had kept it exclusive to Brave Camilla for a little bit longer, instead of tacking it onto another character, but here we are. So attack speed push 4, another source of attack speed push 4, is valuable. It just so happens she's also in the colorless pool, which is kind of odd. I think they're trying to enhance the fodder that's available in the colorless pool, and this is certainly one way to do it. But yeah, if you want attack speed push 4, you're going to have to go hunting in colorless. Speed Defense Ruse 3 for the B slot. If Rally Assist is used by unit or target's unit, inflicts Speed Defense -5 and Guard on foes in cardinal directions of unit, and targets through their next action. I think the Ruse skills are really fun. I think that they open a lot of doors to creative strategies. I also think that most people in most team compositions are going to want to swap out the Ruse skills for something else. But, you know, that's just me. I think there's more utility-based B-slot skills that people gravitate towards, especially in an infantry setting. Infantry has so many opportunities to expand and use other skills in the B-slot. They have no shortage of replacements, so I feel as though the Ruse skill here is fine, but I also don't think that people are going to be chomping at the bit to summon for that specifically. So Eleonora has some premium fodder here for sure. I just also think that it's a little underwhelming, at least as far as her premium, her preferred weapon is concerned. So let's just keep going. Take a look at her attacking art. It's cute. Virian didn't show up there, or maybe I missed it. Cool facade.
But she's a great partner regardless.
So this is some more Kaboon art. So Kiria is going to be an infantry mage, a red infantry mage. Oh boy, Tharja cannot catch a break. She just can't break away from being a red tome user in this game, apparently. Even when she's not the main character, even when she is like the stand behind the character, she still has to be a red tome user. So Kiria paired with Tharja is going to be an infantry red tome user. Kaboon always doing a phenomenal job. I say this every time. Kaboon's one of my favorite artists in the game. I think he did a great job on Kiria here. I think especially Tharja in the back looks absolutely phenomenal. I think he did a great job here on the art itself. I think it conveys sort of this it's like looming dark elegance, especially Tharja in the back there with kind of the draping cape. And then the sort of thief-like design of Kiria. Looks really good. Looks really good. Let's keep going.
This world has no shortage of specimens for my studies.
I do like how the voice actors are the same for the stands. Let's take a quick look at these skills. Mirage Rod is a 14 might weapon. Grants attack +3, inflicts attack res -6 on foes within 2 spaces during combat. During combat. That is pretty good. That's actually pretty good. That essentially gives her +6 damage whenever she initiates on somebody. That's actually not bad at all. It gives her +6 damage, and then if she's going to be tanking a hit, she's going to have basically, +6 defense and res. So that's actually not a bad effect. I mean, it's a little bare bones from what we're used to, I would say, but you can kind of think about this as giving her an additional +6 attack. And not only that, it gives all of her allies +6 attack when they're initiating on a character around her. I like that kind of curse effect or that hex effect that they've kind of borrowed from Tharja and kind of given it to this character as well. So I think that's kind of neat. I do like the effect itself. Iceberg for the special, boosts damage by 50% of units res. Attack res solo 3, if unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants attack res +6 during combat. It's kind of interesting because I feel like attack res solo 3 doesn't necessarily fit cleanly on her because Mirage Rod, as I mentioned, will also benefit all of her allies that would also attack into an enemy that is being affected by the debuff, right? The potential problem there, and it's not a big problem, don't get me wrong, but the potential problem there is if other units are going to be taking advantage of that debuff, they're probably going to be sitting adjacent to Tharja, or there's a good chance that they will, which will render her solo skill useless. So it's a little bit odd of a choice, I feel, for her. I feel like one of the form skills would have worked a lot better for her in that context, but it's fine. It's still a premium skill, I would argue. For the B skill, Lull attack res 3 inflicts attack res -3 on foe and neutralizes foes' bonuses to attack and res from skills like Fortify, Rally, etc. during combat. The lull skills, I love the lull skills, and I think any addition to that or expansion of that is going to be useful. In this instance, I think it's going to be a powerful effect for her. It is interesting how it also synergizes with Mirage Rod, because it basically means that the opponent will get -9 to their attack and -9 to their res, which is significant. That's a significant effect. So kind of an odd choice with attack res solo 3, but otherwise I like her kit. I think it works well. So let's keep going.
My turn.
Oh, that attacking effect is really cool. I like the musical notes too. It looks nice. Okay. What is this? All right, so Mamori. All right, so Mamori is this little thing here. She kind of looks like she's dressed like a belle. So she's an armored axe user. So Mamori is an armored axe user, and Draug is her persona / stand. I think the art is pretty perfect here. I think it's pretty adorable. The dramatic shading with the lines. I think the same artist as Rai, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it works well with kind of the cartoony stature of her and like this like very bright, colorful, dramatic shading type effect. I think it works really nicely. It's cute, and she has like a little bunny tail too. So I guess she's an armored bunny or something. I don't know, but she looks cool. She looks good. So Mamori, I'm gonna have to be careful about how I pronounce that name. Let's see what her skills are all about. Alright, so Mirage Axe is a 16 might weapon. Grants res +3. Ah, interesting. That is interesting. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants defense res +6 to unit during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Interesting. That's actually probably the strongest weapon effect we've seen so far of this batch. So it's a weapon exclusive to her. It gives her additional res, which again is sort of an odd choice, but I'm kind of going to refrain from judging it until we see what her A slot skill is. But it basically boosts her defenses, which is just traditionally what an armor wants, as long as she's within 2 spaces of an ally, which is a very, very easy condition to meet. Not only that, during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack, so she basically prevents follow-up attacks from her foe. That's actually a pretty exceptional axe. That's a pretty exceptional weapon, in my opinion. Bonfire for the special Shield Session 3. So this is a new skill, a new A-slot skill. If foe initiates combat, grants bonus to units defense and res during combat equal to 9 minus the number of foes who have already acted times 3. Weird. That's so weird. Minimum value of 3. So, okay, let's break that down for a second. So first of all, if foe initiates combat, so it means it's an enemy phase only skill. It gives her defense and res, so it boosts all of her defenses during combat. It's an in-combat buff. And by default, it's 9. So it's 9 if the first initiation on her, or the first unit on the enemy team initiates on her, then she gets a 9 boost to her defense and res. So essentially, you're going to be planting her in front of the enemy team, and the first opponent that initiates on her, let's say that she's in the range of all of the opposing team, all 4 of them. We'll just say 4. We'll use arena in this context. The first foe initiates against her. The number of foes who have already acted is 0. So it would be 9 minus 0 times 3. So the way that they're going to be calculating this is 0 times 3 for the first person initiating, because the number of foes who have already acted is 0. And then, so it's 0 times 3 minus 9, or 9 minus that value, which means she gets 9. So the first person that initiates on her is, if that is the first person in the enemy team to act, that means she gets 9 defense and 9 res. And then when the following enemy attacks her, it's going to be 1 times 3 is the value that's subtracted from 9, so that means 6. So when the second enemy attacks her, she's going to have plus 6 defense and plus 6 res. And then the third enemy attacks her. The third enemy attacks her, that's 2 times 3, so that's 6 minus 9, which is 3. So then she gets 3 defense and 3 res. And then the fourth enemy attacks her, which would ordinarily, the calculation would be, beyond. She would be negative, essentially, or neutraled out at 0. But the minimum value is 3. So when the fourth enemy attacks her, she's going to get defense plus 3, res plus 3. So it's definitely a pretty convoluted skill. I think it can be pretty darn useful in the player's hands. I think it's absolutely useless in the AI's hands, because the AI can't coordinate correctly. It can't bait a player to force them to attack in a specific way. So because of that, it's completely useless as an AI skill. But in a player's hands, it could be sort of useful. But with all that being said, I don't know if the overall value it provides is worth how convoluted it is. At a very base minimum, she's getting plus 3 defense and plus 3 res when a foe initiates against her, which isn't great. It's definitely not great, but at least you don't get no effect. Like, even if you just kind of used her in a very willy-nilly way, you would at least get that plus 3 defense and plus 3 res, and up to plus 9 defense and plus 9 res. So, it has value for a tanky unit, like I'm assuming she is. It's just, it takes a lot of forethought to use, which isn't a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I think it's a very unique skill, and I love unique skills rather than kind of like strict power creep. I think having and implementing new and unique types of skills is something that they should really be striving for, and this is an example of something like that. It's definitely thinking outside of the box. Vengeful Fighter 3 for the B slot. If unit's HP is greater than or equal to 50% and foe initiates combat, again, we all know Vengeful Fighter 3, grants special cooldown charge plus 1 to unit's attack, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. So Vengeful Fighter works really well with Mirage Axe. Of course, she gets to prevent follow-up attacks against her, while at the same time she gets to guarantee a follow-up attack against an enemy. If I had to guess, I think she's going to have really, really bad speed. She's going to be min-maxed in that respect, probably have terrible speed, and have really boosted defenses. I'm not sure how I feel about Shield Session. At the end of the day, I feel like there's a lot of baggage associated with this skill that you can kind of shift aside for a slightly lower effect with other A-slot skills. But for people that want to optimize and get those 9 stats where it really counts, This is definitely an opportunity to do it, and I think it's, again, it's unique, which is fun. And I think that Mirage Axe is actually a really powerful effect. I think that is just a great weapon, especially when paired with something like Vengeful Fighter. So let's keep going. Take a look at her attacking art. Yeah, she is a bunny. I kind of... God. Oh, man. It looks ridiculous. Okay. Alright. So we've got Madcap Idol, Tsubasa, and paired with Shida. I think Tsubasa looks great here. I've always liked her design a lot ever since they revealed her from, you know, Tokyo Mirage Sessions. She looks very peppy and cheerful, and she kind of embodies what you would envision an idol to encompass, at least in terms of the overall energy that you're getting from her. I like the upbeat, you know, girlish color palette that she has going on here. I like the feather motif that she has overall, sort of the feather effect that she has on the skirt, as you can see it kind of in the little headdress. And you even have feathers sort of coming out of her armor as well. I think it looks really nice. It flows well. And obviously, it thematically works because she happens to be a flyer. So let's keep going and see what the pair of Shida and Tsubasa have in store for us. I like that Pegasus design. Looks really cool. Okay, so she has 5 skills available, so she is arguably going to be sort of the premium powerhouse, a marquee character of this banner. Obviously, she was also the protagonist of Tokyo Mirage Session, so I guess that's not terribly much of a surprise. But she comes with Mirage Feather, so this is going to be a lance exclusive to her. It's a 16 might weapon, effective against armored and cavalry foes. Okay. Dual effectiveness, grants speed +3, also good. If unit initiates combat after an ally has already acted, grants attack speed +6 during combat, and unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. Really? Alright, so they're trying to bake in this number of actions type condition, like with Mamori, in that the unit initiates combat after an ally has already acted. So as long as she acts second in the team, at least. Grants attack speed +6 during combat, so she... Wow, that's a lot of attack and speed, and unit can make a follow-up attack before the foe can counterattack. That's so good. That is built-in desperation without a health condition. Instead, she just has to act second on her team. That's extremely good. Effective against armored and cavalry foes as well. Grant speed +3. This is a phenomenal weapon. This is a really strong weapon. The dual effectiveness itself is just a really powerful effect. Even like if you put that aside, the rest of her weapon does a lot of cool things. I mean, I feel like the other weapons in this banner were kind of lacking. I mean, I think Tsubasa unfortunately ended up getting all of the frills or most of the frills on this banner. Grant speed +3 again if unit initiates combat, so it's only if she's attacking. So she only gets this as a player phase unit. That is something that's worth noting. So she gets that attack and speed +6, is able to attack twice in a row as long as she initiates combat after one of her allies has. That's such an easy condition to meet, and it's so powerful. The more I think about it, the more I feel like the reason why they're trying to push these skills in particular is because they're skills that are really, really powerful in a player's hands that can plan things out, and are really, really terrible in the AI's hands. I feel like they're trying to give more power and more control to a player versus the AI, which to me makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think that that's part of what people have issues with Ether Raids, is that you have these particular setups that the AI can take advantage of, and these specific loops and traps, and if you're able to give more power to the player's hands, and the AI essentially doesn't know how to deal with it, then, you know, basically you're empowering the player, which is never a bad thing. Alright, so Moonbow for the special. Alright, I mean, it's a solid choice. We'll see how that synergizes with the rest of her kit. Blade Session 3 for the A slot. If unit initiates combat, grants bonus to unit's attack and speed during combat equal to 3 plus number of allies who have already acted times 3. Max value of 9? Interesting. That's really interesting. So what that essentially means is she gets +3 attack and +3 speed no matter what. As long as she's initiating in combat, she gets that +3 to both attack and speed. If she's the last person on her team to act, she can get up to a max value of 9 to attack and speed, which obviously synergizes with the +6 attack and speed that Mirage Feather grants, which means she gets +15 attack and +15 speed. That's nuts. I mean, that's really, really powerful. And that's really, really powerful. I mean, you can kind of force the effect by idling or waiting with certain characters to use up their action so that Tsubasa gets the buffs that she needs in certain instances. Again, all of these buffs are only during player phase. It's only when she is actually initiating, but it's a lot of stacked attack and speed. Now, something that I am curious about, it says number of allies who have already acted. I wonder how that works with something like Gale Force or Dances. So if a number of allies who have already acted, if there's a refresher on the team or if there's a Gale Force user on the team, if they act and then activate Gale Force, or if they act and they get danced, does that count as that action that's already been taken? And then when they act again, is that another action that's already been taken? Or does it actually count like the number of allies? I mean, I know it says number of allies who have already acted, but it's a little unclear because with refreshing, you never know how the game actually calculates it and works it out. If I take it at face value, then the dancing and refreshing really makes no difference whatsoever, but you never know. I mean, it's just something that's probably worth testing. Chill Speed 3 for the B slot obviously works and synergizes with the fact that she is going to be a very speedy unit. She wants to have as much speed as possible to double with impunity. As long as she's not the first unit acting on the team, she's going to be able to double, and she's going to be able to double in a row. And it's a powerful effect. It is a powerful effect. Hone Flyers for the C slot. Hone Flyers never goes out of style. Hone Flyers till today is still an extremely powerful skill. I know a lot of people kind of harp on the fact that there's so many panics and debuffs out there and everything else, but at the end of the day, Hone Flyers is one of those skills that still puts in work all the time. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with Tsubasa's kit. The biggest issue with her is that she is a Lance Flyer, of which there are so many. And not only is she a Lance Flyer, she is a player phase, offensive-oriented Lance Flyer, which again, there are so many out there. The competition is very stiff in that regard. But I mean, I think she fights with the best of them as far as that's concerned. Now, it is worth noting as an aside that these units that have these session skills where it relies upon them being the last actor of their team or a later actor of their team, if they're the last man standing or last woman standing on their team, they're not going to get any buffs. So really what that ultimately means is that they're severely handicapped once they start losing allies. Now, obviously, that's not really a huge consideration because in most instances, you're not going to be losing allies anyway. But again, it kind of reinforces that the AI does not know how to act or prioritize itself in that fashion. So if you leave Tsubasa as the last unit on the enemy team that's controlled by AI, she's going to be severely handicapped. So again, extremely strong in the player's hands, but in the hands of the AI is probably baitable and exploitable. So just keep that in mind. Let's keep going. Take a look at Tsubasa's attacking art. Oh, I like it a lot. Oh, I love the wings on her Pegasus too. It looks great. Okay, so Parallel Story, A Star is Born. I actually really like the art on this banner. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's great. And of course, let me know in the comments below who the mysterious swordsman is on the map. I have no idea, once again. So the banner starts on the 19th, so basically 5 days away. Again, it's really weird that they released this trailer so early. I have to imagine that it maybe coincides with something on the Switch release of Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea. I'm just kind of going from memory here. So that could be the case, but regardless, we have this early trailer, and we're getting this sneak peek of these characters, so that's great. So as far as candidates for a potential demotion, I feel like Kiria, honestly, is probably the front runner. I would say Eleonora but the only reason I'm not saying Eleonora is because she has attack speed push 4, which I don't think they would put on a 3 to 4 star unit. Kiria does have some lull skills, or has a lull skill, which I think is very powerful. So I'm not even sure if they would demote her. I could definitely see this banner moving forward without a single demotion, and unfortunately, that's a very real possibility. But if I had to guess one of them, I would personally say that Kiria is probably the front runner for it, if anybody. So for me, I love the art on this banner. It's so vibrant and energetic. I think for me personally, I would like to get my hands on Tsubasa. I think she looks great. I think she comes with really unique skills that'll be fun to use. Kiria as well is a really cool design, and also she has the Tokyo Mirage Sessions version of Tharsha behind her. And that's something that I would generally gravitate towards. So I may end up pulling on this banner. I may end up going for Tsubasa. Kiria, again, I think is a potential candidate for a demotion, although it's not it's not a surefire thing. So I may end up going for her too. But let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, if you were expecting this banner. How many of you out there actually guessed that this is going to be the banner that we were going to be getting? Let me know if you're excited and who you're going to be pulling for, if any of them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really, really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.